Good morning, everyone. Today is Memorial Day, and having just been in Israel a few weeks ago and observed Yom HaZikaron, Memorial Day in Israel, the contrast is glaring. And in America, Memorial Day is a day for barbecues. It's a day that symbolizes the beginning of the summer vacation. But in Israel, Memorial Day is a very serious day. And it starts in the evening before, where everyone flocks to gatherings, where they actually gather together with family and friends and remember their beloved family members who died, the 22,000 soldiers who died in the wars protecting Israel. They also remember all the victims who were killed by terrorist attacks simply because they were Jewish. And then there's a siren in the evening, everyone stops and remembers. And then in the morning, everyone goes to the cemeteries. And I went to Har Herzl, Mount Herzl. Literally, there are tens of thousands of people, and each family gathers around the grave of their beloved. And then everyone stops, and they give you special cards with the prayers to say the Kel Malay, to say the Psalms. And then again there's a siren where the whole country stops. And standing in the cemetery, following all the speeches that were given on the loudspeakers in the cemetery, and you see mothers and fathers sitting by the graves of their children with their children and family members, and it's a very emotional and a very profound day. And then, where I was standing in Har Herzl, I was standing by the grave of Michael Levine with his parents, who are members of our shul. Their son died in the Lebanon war. He was an American boy who made Aliyah to fight in the IDF, and he died in the war of 2006. And right after they finish everything, they sing the Hatikva. And after the Hatikva was sung, there was a group of religious Jews standing right next to me by a grave. And after the ceremony was over, they started to sing Ani Ma'amin. They started to sing the song about the faith and the belief in the coming of Mashiach. And I realized that that's what we really should be thinking about on Memorial Day. What do we think about on Memorial Day? We think about how fortunate we are to have the freedoms we have in this country. But we remember the brave soldiers who died and gave their lives and sacrificed their lives so we could have the freedoms of life that we enjoy. As they say, freedom is not free. There are many who sacrificed their lives. So the first thing is we should remember those who died and gave up their lives so we can enjoy the freedoms of living in a free country where we have the freedom of religion as well, freedom of speech. All the rights we have are protected by these soldiers who sacrificed their lives. But what we really should be thinking about is the fact that this is not what we want. We ultimately pray for a day of the coming of Mashiach, where the prophet Isaiah said, Lo yisago lo cher. There will be a day when one nation will not lift up a sword against another nation. There will be no more war. And we will beat our swords into plowshares. That's what we should be praying for Memorial Day. That we should come a day that we shouldn't have to memorialize any soldiers. Not in America, not in Israel, not anywhere around the world. Because no more soldiers will have to go to battle. Because Hashem should send us the ultimate redemption, the coming of Mashiach. When these Jews at the grave started to sing that song, I realized that that's what we really should be thinking about on Yom HaZikaron, not just the past. Of course we have to remember the past, but we really should pray for a better future, a future that was promised to us by our great prophets. I'll just conclude with a story in the Medrash. The Medrash says there was once a meeting in the forest, and all the animals gathered together to elect a king of the forest. So Medrash says the lion stood up and said, well, obviously I should be the king of the forest. I'm the mighty animal of the forest. And to prove his might, he leaned back on his hind legs, opened his mouth, and gave out this mighty roar that thundered and reverberated for miles through the forest. And all the other animals stood back with fear and trepidation and intimidation. They were like, yeah, he's the lion. Surely he's the most powerful animal, the most powerful, ferocious beast. And then the Medrash says there was a little bird that stepped up and said, actually, I think I should be the king of the forest. Everyone started to laugh. This little tiny bird is going to compete with the mighty lion. And the bird said, yeah, I think I'm more powerful than the lion. They said, how is that? So the bird said, watch. And the Medrash says the bird started to tweet, to chirp a little song. When the bird started to sing its song, all the birds in the tree above started to join in the music, to sing along. And then the Medrash says when the birds in one tree started to sing, the birds in the next tree started to sing, and then the next tree. And the Medrash says, before you know it, the whole forest was filled with song of the birds. And the song of the birds traveled further than the mighty roar of the lion. And the idea is that power and might is very domineering. And in the world we live in today, everyone wants to be powerful, every country wants to be the superpower. But might has its limitations, power has its limitations. There comes a point where the mighty roar of the lion stops. But if you teach people how to sing a beautiful song, a song of love, a song of peace, a song of the prophets, that one day the wolf will lie with the lamb because we'll all sing the same song. And the wolf will want to devour the lion because we'll live in one harmonious world and we'll sing the song of, like we just said in the end of Elena, the whole world will come to know there's one Hashem, and we'll sing that song of faith in Hashem. Then the song of the bird will travel beyond the mighty roar of the lion. And that's what we should think about today. We should think about those who sacrificed their lives to give us our freedom and truly, deeply appreciate it. Maybe say a prayer for their souls. And in addition to that, pray for a day when no longer we will have to have a Memorial Day, because the world will learn to finally live in peace.